Hi guys, this video is about fear, the kind that blends into your daily routine, you ever noticing it, the kind that doesn't look obvious, especially for neurodivergent. You wake up, go through your day and handle your responsibilities, but underneath the surface, there's hesitation. You overthink things more than you used to. Put back from situations you once handled without much thoughts or choice. The safer route more often. It doesn't feel dramatic, it feels normal. That's how fear begins to creep in. And we're neurodivergent, that internal reaction can be strong. It doesn't just sit in thoughts. It moves through your body, through your psyche, through your decision. That because fear doesn't always show up as panic. It sometimes shows up as delays. You think about doing something, you tell yourself you'll do it later. Later becomes next week becomes next month, and next month becomes maybe this isn't for me. It shows up as over preparing. You rehearse conversations and possible scenarios and imagine outcomes because internally you want safety. And that's normal. But when safety becomes the only priority, your ability to grow through challenge start to dwindle. You stop attempting the hard things. You risk less. You expose yourself to fewer options. And slowly your world feels smaller. Let me give one example. Driving, you start off fine, stable, calm. Then something inside shifts. You feel your heartbeat. Your stomach drops. You feel like the road seems longer than it did a second ago. Nothing changed extremely, but internally, everything feels louder. You grip the wheel tighter. You slow down more than necessary. You may even consider pull over. That's fear entering the mind. If you let it lead every time, you begin avoiding highways, then avoiding busy roads, and finally driving altogether. Fear doesn't remove things all at once. It removes them gradually. The same pattern begins to slow up in other areas, starting something new, making a decision, trying the different routines. Fear shows up as hesitation. You wait for the right feeling. That perfect internal feeling rarely comes, and waiting becomes a habit. When you're neurodivergent, your processing is deep. You analyze your layers, you feel more variables, you consider more possibilities. That depth is powerful, but fear can expect in depth. One concern multiplies in several. One hesitation spreads, and if you don't interrupt it, avoidance becomes your standard. Fear taking over your life that's not always dramatic. It often manifests as reduction, less participation, less visibility, less experimentation. You begin to see yourself differently. You might think, maybe I'm just cautious. Maybe I'm just not built for that. Maybe I should stay in my lane. But that belief didn't start unusually. Unnaturally. It formed through repetition, becomes your identity. And the longer it runs your routine, the more normal it feels. That's the dangerous part. Not the fear itself, the familiarity of it. But taking our life back doesn't require eliminating fear, because fear is actually a normal part of life. In many cases, it says use from dangerous situation, but in overdrive, fear keeps us stuck. So overcoming fear is about knowing when to push through and when to retreat. It's important to push through fear when it blocks your progress. To do this, you must move forward in the moment. You don't wait to feel fearless. You keep going in the midst of fear. When it holds you back from your purpose, you face it head on. You evaluate the evidence. You realize that the negative scenarios you imagined didn't come to fruition. You keep driving. You start the stack. You send a message. You show up. Fear might still try to stop you. Your heartbeat might still rise. Your stomach might still tighten. But you continue. That is how you overcome fear. In this moment, it stops controlling you and you start needing it. Not through aggression, but through repetition and reasoning. Your routine can't be rebuilt. You can reintroduce the things you once avoided. You could gradually increase your exposure to things that once threatened you, not to overwhelm yourself, but to remind your system that you are compatible. Fear doesn't disappear overnight, but it diminishes when it no longer detects your schedule. And here's something important. You are not damaged because you feel fear intensely. Your nervous system processes deeply. Your mind reacts roughly. That doesn't mean you are fragile. It means you are sensitive to input. Sensitivity is not incompatibility. It just requires management. If fear has been stably overtaking your life lately, you are not alone. Especially as a neurodivergent young adult, internal reactions can feel amplified, but fear does not own your path. It accompanies you, but it cannot decide for you. You can feel hesitation and still keep going. You can feel anxiety and still move forward. You can feel uncertainty and still expand and range. And each time you challenge your fears, you remind yourself you are still in charge. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more inspiration and encouragement along with your neurodivergence journey. Bye guys.